IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Just landed, and that's why we're running 1 minute late. I rushed from the car downstairs to here because there was no parking in Malabar Hill. It took me an extra 4 or 5 minutes, but I rushed at full pace. You can tell I'm not lying. You can tell I'm out of breath, and I'm very tired. But today, it's cock and bull time, and it's time for some revelations. I think it's only fair that we are a little more intimate with the audience here. And by that, I mean, we tell the truth. We talk about inner pain, inner angst, and allow people to be sensitized on the show with us. So everyone comes clean, and you have a therapeutic session out of it. I think we have to take the show to another level. So I'm going to start, and then I'm going to ask Amit and, of course, Silverie to give us one. It's like truth or dare, but with meaning. Because truth or dare is with drinks and, you're just being stupid. And you just want to kiss some girl and you're 18 years old and she's 43 and married with 2 kids who are also in the room. So, that's stupid. But here, it's very clear. Speak from the heart. You let your soul open itself in a sense, and the karma of the world comes together and you hold hands and you sort of get strength from each other. So what I'm going to do is I'll just set the ball rolling and then I'll call on the other two. What I'm going to say is very scary. It's very painful. It's very personal. And I don't know how to say it, but I'm just going to find the strength to just come out with it. Folks, I can't do anything about it. I've tried my best. I've called people. I've looked at experts and spoken to them. I've gone online to Google itself and got no answers. I think I'm going to have to live with hair in my ear. I have it. It's gone deep. It's affecting my hearing and it's causing aesthetic imbalance on otherwise very beautiful visage, which is face in German.
If you're a cricket fan, check out Edges and Sledges, India's favorite cricket podcast.
The podcast focuses on Indian cricket, the IPL, and has a ton of banter both on and off the field.
We talk about the week's biggest cricket stories with current and ex-international cricketers, coaches, or sometimes just between us.
And it's hosted by me, DJ.
Me, Varun.
And me, Ashwin.
New episodes release every week.
You can catch us on the IVM Podcast's website, app,
or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast.
Now let me call on my two friends in Cock and Bull, as the show is called. Amit, I'd need a confession from you just like this, just to get the community together on our podcast.
Okay.
Then people will write in with their own secrets and open up.
So you want, are you asking me whether I have hair in my ears?
No, not at all. I want an inner story from the inner Amit. Enough of all the jokes and the hoaxes and the political, standoffs that we have and, situations and tech. I mean, that's all great, but let's get something from the heart.
Okay. Antariksh, you want to go first? Because I don't have any secrets. I can't think of anything. I'll think of it.
I don't have
and my ear to the world.
I don't have a secret, but this is something that you guys don't know that happened to me just yesterday.
You lost your virginity?
I was driving on. Yes, exactly. That's it, Cyrus.
It happens while driving a lot of times. Yeah, tell me.
I did lose my virginity of getting slapped thrice at a road accident.
Yesterday?
Oh.
Yesterday, within a 3-minute period, I was on the call with a friend. I don't know, man. It's just the thing that is happening.
So
the cops, these people, yeah, everyone's just.
Why did you got slapped thrice?
So it was pouring, yeah. So it was pouring like crazy, and I'm driving. I don't see a bike which is trying to take a U-turn, but it's not entirely my fault because I'm the one who's allowed to go straight. Okay, he's seeing me go straight, but he's still trying to adjust between the divider and my car. He's trying to come in between that. So my car hits him and he falls over. He's on the bike with his sister, he says later. And there's another bike with him who's another friend. Okay. Oh. So there are 2 bikes and these guys are like 1.5 times my height, bulked up guy and muscle.
You don't have to explain the imbalance in the physics.
I'm trying to explain why I did not fight back at all.
When a guy gets hit, let me explain to you, by the car, falls off the bike, his blood is rushing. If he's a midget and a really small man. So when his blood is rushing, people will do stupid things in any case. Sorry, go on.
The funniest thing though was that I was on the call with a friend, like a speaker, he was on speaker, when I hit this guy, okay? And then I stopped my car on the side of the road and I told my friend, oh shit, dude, I think I just hit someone. Then a minute later, I tell him, "Oh, sorry, dude. I think this guy is trying to come beat me up. I'll just talk to you." Okay, and I cut the call. My friend's like, "Okay, fine, whatever." I call him back literally 3-4 minutes later, and I tell him, "Dude, I just got beat up." He's like, "What? In 3 minutes? You just got beat up in 3 minutes?" He's like, I could already finish the song I was listening to, man. That's ridiculous."
But one sec, but Silverie, what happened? You got out of the car and he started slapping you.
So
I mean, a few words were
I got out of the car. I'm still wearing specs, and the first thing he says to me,
and you were apologetic.
Immediately apologetic. The first thing he says to me is, "Abhe chashma pehenna," and I'm like, "Dude, I am wearing my specs, man. What are you talking about?"
You didn't know Hindi Google. Chashma ka matlab hai spectacles. Yeah,
exactly. "Abhe chashma pehenna," and then he kept saying ke, "Abhe behen hai meri, behen ko mara tu," and she's coming from the
But
side.
he says it fast. It sounds like a gali.
Yeah.
Meri.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, correct. But his sister's coming from the side. And she's like, "अरे नहीं लगी मेरे को, मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ. अरे माँ क्यों लड़ाई कर रहे हो? मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ." So this guy just wanted to pick a fight. This guy was just in one of those moods. Yeah. So then, so I'm like just talking to this guy, trying to calm them down. And then suddenly I look to the left towards the sister. Yeah, towards the sister who is still trying to calm everyone down. And while I look to the left from this side, this guy just slaps me. Okay, like hard, heavy fucking hand. Okay, and my specs go flying on the road. And I start shouting like, what the hell? Why are you like? How can you just slap and all? I'm saying sorry. I obviously didn't do it on purpose. You're like, what are you gonna kill me or something? What rubbish? Like making a whole scene out of it. And a small scene forms. I pick up my specs, and the scene that forms is just trying to separate. Okay, don't pick a fight. They're making me get back into my car so that just get this matter over with. And
who's making you get back in the car?
These other people who have gathered around. There are like 5-6 other people who have gathered around.
India,
bystanders.
Always people
good bystanders. Good bystanders. Like they're helping out. Yeah. See, I've realized you do need good bystanders. Like regardless of people like, "Oh, chalo dekho ladai chal rahi hai, let's go see." You do need good bystanders also.
Ask yourself just one question when these things happen: do you want to fight or do you want to run? Don't be in the mixed minds. It's fight or flight. If you want to scrap, the guy is coming to scrap. It's going to end in physical violence. Then if that's your thing, get out. Otherwise, get into your car, keep driving.
That's not the end. That's not the end of my slap. So I'm getting into my car. Okay, I'm getting into my car. So literally getting into my car. I'm still having a shouting match with this guy, right? We're shouting at each other.
And the other guy?
I'm getting into my car.
What's the other guy doing?
Exactly. The other guy is standing behind me here. Like somewhere here, he's standing somewhere here. Okay. So I can't really see him. He's not on my peripherals. So I can't see him. And while I'm getting into my car, literally while my head is going into my car, this guy bashes me from behind on the side of my face here. Okay. So that's cowardly guy. And then, so I turn around like, what the fuck, dude? I turn around and this guy's just walking away already, like proper coward, already walking away. I'm like, "Abhe behen hai." And then that was the end of it. And then I just sat in my car, showed him the middle finger, and then just whatever.
Your
that's all I could do.
Very sad because it's making my year story sound quite infantile.
You know what I realized though? You know what I realized though? I'm a terrible...
Amit is screwed. You've raised the bar. What's he going to do? I got gang raped on the highway. What's he going to come back with? We got freaking... Oh, man.
What do you say?
You should have spoken last year. You just spoiled it.
Yeah. So but what I did realize though is that like in high adrenaline situation, no, I don't flinch at all. So because at one point this guy almost like went to hit me with his helmet. And I just kept staring at him. I did not flinch at all. I don't know how that happened. He went to he had a helmet in his hand. He was like, "I'll maru kya?" And I was just staring at him, like literally dead in the eyes. Yeah, and I think he got a little taken aback. He's like, "What? This guy's not even scared of getting hit by a helmet?"
That's not what happened. They were 2, you were 1, you're smaller than them, and that's 75% of the reason why they actually raised their hands. If you were 6 foot 3 and you were another guy in the car, it's very possible it wouldn't have gone into fisticuffs. So in all this adrenaline rush, the guy also sums up the situation. Percentile cricket happens, and he says, "I have a better chance of beating this guy." So there's just bullying.
Yeah.
And B, even whenever I've fought with people, I've fought all my life, I always regret it in a few minutes. It's just the most stupid thing any person can do to another person is raise your hand. It's just such a pointless exercise. But I always tell you, if it's looking bad, just run. Discretion is the better part of valor, because then this thing happens to you. You're outnumbered, outgunned.
Yeah.
You're just basically defending yourself.
I've decided.
That sweet young girl, you should thank her. How was she born of the same parents?
She did. Yeah, there was. I don't. Actually, I think they were like Muh Boli Behan Sister. Because they look nothing alike. It's one of those.
Yeah, gray area, man. I don't like that shit. Oh, what are you saying? Younger sister?
Yeah,
oh, bloody hell! What's wrong with this country?
Yeah.
You expose the underbelly of the beast with that.
I've decided I am just gonna buy a gun now and just keep it on me. empty gun, just to threaten people like, hey, what are you gonna come beat me up?
If you stayed
Just
in the
tap
car,
it on from the inside of my window, okay, guys, you don't want to come near me.
You could have run him over when he was approaching you.
I mean, I could have done anything, man. But that's
Huh?
true. That was a bigger gun. Yeah.
There's always somebody with a bigger gun. So I mean, like that's I don't think the solution here, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah,
I'm just joking, obviously. I'm not gonna get.
The crowd that gathered weren't able to stop that second guy from sneaking from behind, or just he hit
No,
and ran
they
sort of
weren't.
thing?
No, he literally hit and started walking away. Yeah, started walking. Literally hit me and started walking away.
Who's going to be able to stop that? Nobody expected that.
I remember stopping a fight between a biker and a car because the man was elderly in the car. It was his fault. He sort of, went into the bike, wasn't paying attention. But the biker and the biker's friend, both two young, strong-looking guys, pulling out a 60-plus man. So went to stop it and was able to. So what I did was I held the tough guy like that, in a calm way, said, calm down, whatever. And he recognized me. He said, "Satisfy, you pagal hai, jaisa budde log ko chalane ko nahi aata hai." And all the ageism and all came out. And in all that, while he was whatever, he hit me trying to hit that guy.
Oh,
I was like, what, man? Peacekeeping forces overrated. Yeah, what a story.
Wow, yeah.
Vineet Khandelwal has a great comment, a hilarious comment. He says, his sister just thought her brother would get beaten up. Little did she know the pussy Silverie is. Oh, very funny, dude. Nice.
Yeah. But they're not very bad punches or anything. Nothing seems to have happened.
So I immediately sat back in my car, and because it was so quick, right? I was firstly thankful that at least it did not go for an hour or something where I was just getting beat up for like continuously for an hour. It was like in the middle of peak traffic. We were stopped on the side of the road. So they could. This is on JVLR. This is literally on JVLR. And
there's no cop inside. It was just pouring that day. So everything was against you.
Yeah, it was pouring. Exactly. Yeah. It was pouring, and but there was a cop a little ways behind. But it was again a little ways behind. I don't think he saw this accident.
He only will come out chase me for walking my dog. They'll never come when there's a real reason to come.
Yeah,
really, honestly.
Exactly.
Okay, Amit, pressure, Amit. How do you top Silverie's story of violence, of madness, of adrenaline-fueled, high hormone, testosterone?
I do not know. Okay, so your fundamental question was, what is like an embarrassing secret, right? That was your fundamental question.
He's sharing something which you wouldn't share. You can use the word embarrassing, but more, I would say it's more just intimate. It's
like
intimate,
private.
Like
okay.
if your aunt is suffering of something and you would not share, it's not embarrassing, but you don't share it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So normally, see, the thing is, I live in everybody. I never keep things quiet. I tell everybody anything. So I don't know what I can say here, right? I'm just trying to think of what it is. So how about this? But this is I don't want to. I'm thinking of something, but if I say it, it'll come across as a humble brag, and I'd rather not do that then either, right?
No, I want the humble brag.
You want the humble brag?
Yeah, because
I've only read. So generally, I read about 25 nonfiction books a year. I've only read 3 this year. See, humble brag, right?
Nice, very nice. Silverie, can you go again then to make up for this damn brag? It's a waste of time. Just tell your story a second time. I mean, you got beaten up. It's pouring rain. I mean, this is like a bloody feature film. And yours is, "Arey yaar, maine padhai nahi ki."
I'm just trying to think, what else can I talk about, right? Okay, so here's one, right? I mean, like, I have been, again, it's reading oriented because this is the only thing I can think of right now, which I'm doing, right? I mean, so I've been reading a Chinese martial arts novel. So yeah, I mean, like, it's a book called, or rather, it's a series called The Desolate Era. And yeah, I mean, like, I've been obsessively reading it. It's 100. So most normal Amazon.
Is it in Mandarin?
It's translated.
Oh, I thought it was in Mandarin, so it's taking a long time. Hence, only 3 books make sense. It was like 3 words in Mandarin for the day, so you're going through that. Yeah.
No, so this is insanely long in the sense that, so basically,
what do you mean by martial arts novel? As in, like the kung fu movies?
Yes. So there's a genre in Chinese culture called wuxia.
The storylines aren't great generally.
Oh no, so this is all the same shit, right? It's fighting against the spoiled brat, taking part in the tournament, finding the treasure area and going and hunting for the treasure, finding the more powerful person than you and going and beating him in a fight.
No
going
destroying
and
the Japanese.
school.
No historical perspective.
And it's literally wash rather rinse repeat, right? I mean, like, in the sense that you first do this when he's weak, then you do this when he's a little stronger, then you do this when he's even stronger, then you do this when he gets super strong. But it just is continuously that. But basically, yeah. So there's this genre called wuxia, which is a Chinese martial arts genre, and I'm reading this book, which is so a normal Amazon mystery story, right? Is 5,000 or basically 5,000 locations in a Kindle. This is 148,000 locations for the entire thing.
Wow.
And I am now on like the 138,000th location, so I've read most of it, and I've done all of this in the last month or so. So I've gotten. So yeah, I mean, like, I've been obsessive about this thing.
To make up for the 25 because you're behind with being only 3, and what is a month?
No,
Ninth month.
this is why I'm behind, because I'm
No, I
reading
know
this
that's
shit.
what. But look at it, reverse it, no? Let's get you books like Mr. Lucky, Mr. Fatty. When we were growing up, we had those small little books with those creatures on them, Mr. Strong. With that, you can finish in literally 4 to 5 minutes. I mean,
That's literally what this book is, right? Because you have a Mr. Strong, a guy who basically it's a guy who was used to be a rock who evolved into a real person over millions and millions
I
of
think
years.
I
So
think
he's a
Silverie
magical
met
guy.
Silverie met that guy yesterday.
But yeah, no, I'm a little embarrassed by my reading habits in 2021. So I guess that's mild.
What do you reckon the reason for that is? The
No, it's just
podcasting
that
work?
I found a bunch of these wuxia novels, and I've been reading them like a freaking maniac. That's the reason. That's
Hmm.
all. That's the only reason. There's only so many hours in the day to
So
read.
you can't blame government for your lack of reading this year.
I don't blame anybody but my own. Like, this is literally brain candy for me, right? I'm reading this stuff and I'm just enjoying it. It's like, it's like people having stupid ass impossible fights. Uh, the
I want to go back to my more sophisticated point, which is if you want to blame the government for your poor reading this year, would you blame the state or the central government? Because you live here,
I
but the overriding powers and are exercised by the central. So,
That's
what is the
a
correct answer?
very interesting question. If I were to blame anybody, I think I would blame the. I think I'd blame them equally, right? Because the central government is the one who makes me run away from watching the news, and the state government is the one who causes all the frustration.
I call you a Navjot Singh Sidhu. Okay, you decide not to commit. I like that.
Did you see the? So there was a really funny tweet by
The press
Sidin.
conference.
No, Sidin Varakud did a funny tweet yesterday. He's ex Mint guy or something, something like that. A very funny tweet. Won't it be hilarious if Amarinder Singh and Navjot Singh Sidhu meet in the BJP?
Yes. Now, in the last 5 years, so I mean, with Navjot Singh Sidhu, firstly, it's completely not impossible. That whole rumor thing that he was sent by the BJP to poison the shallots and all that. I mean, as you say, controversies and all these theories, a little bit too much, conspiracy rather. It's a bit too much, I felt. Yeah, but he's really in a.
But he stepped down. What do you think of him stepping down as the PCCC
Just,
chief?
it's
But
just
that's why these things came up yesterday. Right? That's why the jokes yesterday.
correct. No, and more
Yeah, correct.
importantly, it just appears like he's only thinking about himself all the time. Quite frankly,
Hmm.
he's always thinking of. He's trying to make a point. It's trying to make a point. He's not trying to make a point in terms of standing for principle. Really, it's more really like just standing for yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
So
it's,
it's really,
it's very Machiavellian, very, very very cunning sort of political. He seems to have the cunning mind. He's suited for
yeah.
politics. I'll say that. But I'm a little disappointed because the cricketer I grew up watching and all that, it's been quite horrific his political career, if you ask me.
I found his career actually really interesting in some ways, right? Because if we think about it, what did he? He was a cricketer, a good cricketer, not an all-time great, but a really good
Oh, you
cricketer.
mean the full
Huh?
career? Well, he reinvented himself from being a strokeless wonder, quote Rajan
Huh.
Bala, to one of
Right.
the fastest batsmen in the side and became a one-day international star for a little while,
Yes.
the 87 or 96 World Cup, if I'm trying to remember
Yes.
correctly.
I think
Um,
96.
he reinvented himself as a fielder. He was the worst fielder in the team. So he's obviously mentally very strong man. And I've done 10 shows with him across India and enjoyed his company and lots of stories and all that. There's one side to him is very charming. He's very, very interesting, a lot of personality. But I don't know. Once he entered the political arena, it just seems to me like, it's just. I mean, he was bashing the Congress when he was with the BJP, talking about how they destroy the
Yeah.
country, and cut to how he goes into their side. Now he quits and may will go into AAP at the end of that. I mean, it's just where's the credibility?
But who do you think is to blame, though? Who do you think is to blame? Is the Congress to
The
blame?
Gandhi
Is
family,
Sidhu himself to
the
blame?
high command.
Or politics to blame?
Sidhu is let's keep him aside for a second because Sidhu is Sidhu and playing his own games within the games. But how can they embarrass Amarinder like that? I mean, he's your
Okay.
champion there for whatever reason. He's won you Punjab. You have only 5 states left, and you can't put someone on top of him. He's like the king of Punjab. Literally, he's from like royal family. You can't suddenly the guy who he shunts out because they don't get along because that guy has no respect for Amarinder and treats him badly in front of others, and it became a respect issue also. You put this guy as his boss. It's like making that biker your boss in the podcast. Okay, you can't stand each other. How you'll walk out? It's just too insulting. Anybody but Sidhu. Okay, acceptable. A 19-year-old Punjabi boy from Sialkot, Pakistan, they could have bought and put, and that would be a non-controversial situation, but not Sidhu. But anyway, it is done. The bell has rung. Somebody open the door.
And my
It's a
house.
live show.
There's somebody
You-
there who can open the door.
You're sure, right?
Yes,
So I
I
don't want
hope
that
so.
person to wait.
Well, if
Uh,
the bell rings again, we'll know.
then will you get up
Uh,
Then I'll have to get up.
after
If
all
it
the
rings a
martial
second
arts?
time, I'll have to
Mr.
rise.
Strong, Mr. Fast, Mr. I thought you just go wah, wah, yeah, and then you'll be back in a second. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Since we're already talking about the Congress and all, I'll just read an AMA question right now before we get to it later. Diana Wilson has asked that what are your thoughts on Kanaya Kumar joining the Congress party?
I think he's very charismatic. Have you heard him speak, by the way?
Absolutely, he's
Uh,
great.
huh?
Great orator. Great
Says
orator.
Hindi,
Yeah.
but great orator and great.
Yeah.
What's the word? Great wit also. Like he can hold his own,
Yep.
not just in his speeches, but in a dialogue or with opposition people. I think who was the guy he ate up in one of these channel shows. He was so polite and sweet through it, which is so refreshing. Also, instead of shouting and screaming. What is the guy's name?
Patra?
It's
Was it Samad
Arnold-
Patra?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was
yeah,
him.
Yeah, I've seen that
And
one.
he's quite sharp himself, not easy to put down. But he got hammered in a nice way. He spoke to me pretty sweet, he never raised his voice, which I love.
Yep.
I just love that,
Yep.
really. So
Yeah.
rare to see. Yeah, maybe I still think that 2024 is going to be a collection, a real collection of personalities and parties, of course, but personalities will have to come
Yeah,
together. And he's got that. What do you think, Amit?
I
He's a
like Kanaya
charismatic guy,
Kumar.
he's interesting.
I think so. I think it's interesting. There are so this is there is a little extra leftism over there than I would prefer.
But he was
But
born
I
and
mean,
bred into that. You can't just wean him off.
no. But again, the thing is that if you're talking
Give one
about
example. What do you mean?
no, I mean like the anti-corporatism and stuff like that. That's kind of baked into his way. But again, I don't
Although he's right.
huh? Hey, hey, hey. But I would just say this, right? That I mean, like, a little more leftist than I would like, but at the same time, Congress needs people that you can actually
Also,
say that, okay,
the great thing about even the more charming politicians like him is what they say is not necessarily what they really mean. You got to as he begins his political journey. Sprouting chapter and verse is important. He's from JNU. He's a leftist proper. He's the Bihar. There's a strong sort of type from that whole area that you put together. So he's from that grouping, and so I suppose that's par for the course. But then I'm sure he has to. How do you survive India? Look at our
Hmm.
present prime minister. No, he's remodeled himself from the early chief minister days to what
Yep.
he is today, where he's hugging
Yep.
everybody in sight in America in spite of the pandemic. Really, he and
Hey, I'm not the I'm not the only one who reads these Chinese novels. Chintu Patel has put a comment in saying that he reads these too, or at least he's asked me some questions about them, which makes me realize that I'm not the only one who reads these martial arts novels, which I'm happy about right now.
it's a strange choice because it seems like a hard read in the sense that there's a lot going on and it takes a long time for what is
No.
essentially a plot about a young man trying to win a competition. Karate Kid
Yeah.
1, Karate Kid 2. Now, I don't think it's worth that kind of effort. But look, I'm not knocking it. But then why?
They're insane. They're absolutely insane. I mean, like, they're just fun.
I'll explain it to you from my perspective is why do I like cowboy films even today?
Oh,
Because some of
because
them are
they're simple.
inane. They're
They're
no, but you
simple.
know, it's like James Bond.
Yeah,
You know what's happening in James Bond.
exactly.
You're not. I mean, the fighting is better and the skill level of the technology is better and all that. But you know, a spy against this guy. That's the big bad villain. He's got 3 chamchas. One by one, they'll be eliminated. They'll kidnap him towards the end. There'll be a great car race or ship race or whatever. I mean, we know all that, but why are we going to watch it?
Because it's fun, right? It
And why is
it,
my
it
voice
basically
becoming
hits
falsetto?
it
Huh.
hits the dopamine centers of our brain, which really kind of just creates happiness,
That
right?
means
Which is what
sometimes we
this
don't
Chinese stuff
want
does.
real. This
I,
is the safety thing.
yeah,
This goes back to the womb. We don't want real excitement. We
no,
want fake excitement. We want to
yes.
know that nothing is going to go wrong. It's going to be more like 80% pretend to be excited and 20% excited is what really happens. As
So
against a proper murder mystery horror film, which you don't know what's going on. Some of them which are really good. The ones that really twist and turn and scare the crap out of you. I mean, I can't think of something, but I've seen like the others. Have you seen the others? I mean, oof.
I have not, but there are a bunch of I mean, the scariest movie I feel like I had ever seen in my life was this movie called Flatliners. In
Hmm.
the 80s and 90s is the one which turned me off horror movies completely, right? Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland. It's about basically a group of doctors who are trying to get people just underneath the death point and then bring them back and see and kind of try and see what happens when you're dead, right? When you're actually like dead,
Yeah. Record
like
the life of the dead.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
and then kind
I
of like
find it,
get the
I find it a very noble cause. Finally, leave rats.
no, no, no. So, the thing is that shit goes wrong, obviously, right? When you're doing this kind of experimentation. That's what makes it a horror movie. That movie scared the crap out of me, right? But it scared the crap out of me because it was so like scientifically based. It wasn't like ghosts flying or like some dude with like a mask killing people. It wasn't that. It was like this was like
Based in reality, basically.
yeah. This is shit. This is the shit that scares me.
Hmm.
I the film that scared me the most was, I think, Koshish.
Okay,
Sanjeev Kumar.
he was
the G-
blind.
yeah,
Is
he
that
was
the one?
blind or deaf and dumb, or all three. It was so slow that I
Huh.
honestly, at the end of I was like hoping that an accident happens and the hero dies. Like just the film ends. Hoping
Okay,
that the
we're
light
thinking of
falls on
different
him.
movies.
No, that's the film. That's the same movie. The same movie. Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah. There have been some films. See, in the old days when we went to cinemas and we couldn't walk out. At least I don't know anybody I grew up with who walked out of the film. We didn't do
Hmm.
walkouts. Now the modern generation go to cinemas and so many people, I couldn't bear it. I walked out. I'm like, and it's more expensive now. We've
Yeah.
done like 4 rupees and 3 rupees and all. But we sit through it. It's like a bad date. You're stuck. You can't make an excuse. Now you've got to wait for all the food to come and all that shit.
Yeah.
You hate this girl, and just the way it is. So there's been so many films which have been horrible that way, and you're just stuck. Not to be mean, but even that not Midnight Cowboy. What is the one with the sorry, but the two men are in love? Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain.
I listen. I'm not an insensitive man, and it's nothing to do with gayness and all that. Who cares about that? But it's a
Yeah, but that movie
really
is
slow
boring.
film.
That movie
It's
is
very
boring as
boring.
hell.
I nearly turned gay. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, I'll turn gay. Can you stop? Stop
Yeah.
this.
No.
Oh,
So I mean, like there are a few movies like that. I'll tell you one which I I don't understand how people love this movie. I love the directors of this movie. I think the actor in this movie is phenomenal. But the movie bored me to tears. No Country for Old Men. I
oh,
was
Ah,
what are you
bored.
saying? I love that film.
same. Yeah.
I was
I love
so
that.
bored.
Oh, he's fabulous.
The
Javier
Javier
Bardem.
Bardem. Yeah,
The
he was
scene
really good.
the scene in the shop where they flip
Yeah.
the coin. Oh man, come on! I was on a plane. I watched it on a plane, and I was so sleepy, and my hair was standing, and my sleep went. It was like an international
I,
flight.
I I don't know, man. I feel like I know it was a good movie. I like them. I thought it was a well-made movie, but I'm just watching this movie and I'm like, I was just so bored.
What is that? What is that nitrogen that thing he used to kill them? And I mean that was also scary. The sound it made. It was like one shot like that.
Yeah, but that was just it was a basically it was a nitrogen gun. Nah, that's what it was, no, basically.
Yeah, but all these things were little like
No,
it was just
no, I
out of the
get it.
ordinary.
I understand, but I
And he
just
was fantastic. He was so
he
scary.
was.
He just looked like death itself.
He was really good in it. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm just saying that I just found the movie really, really like it just everything that happened in the movie that you needed to know, you found out in the first 10 minutes of it. After that, it was just playing out.
But I was still scared. So I'll give them that bit. Still remember the scene in the petrol pump, or the thing where he goes to buy stuff and
Yeah.
he tells that guy, to
What's the
call
worst
the
you've
coin
lost in
and
a
all that.
coin toss?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a
Great.
really?
And
I mean,
super intense.
because
Yeah.
oof, and then he actually escapes. Sorry, spoiler alert. Too late. That he doesn't kill that guy. It's one of the rare times he doesn't. So it's against the grain of the
Uh,
whole film.
no,
But
I listen
man,
again. I know I can understand and respect the craftsmanship of
you're
that
comparing
movie.
that to Brokeback Mountain. I'll ask the people out there. Brokeback Mountain, No Country for Old Men, no contest. It's like your story about 3 books.
Wow, no, one person already saying No Country for Old Men is boring. One guy saying it's a classic. One guy said it was boring.
Well, it's a Coen
Okay.
Brothers movie, so I think that's the deal with all Coen Brothers movies, right? Some of all of them are either loved or hated. I don't think there's like a middle ground thing.
I can't believe Amit didn't like it. I mean, I can understand him saying it's overrated or something, not liking it at all. I thought it had enough moments with my.
I was bored. I like a lot of Coen Brothers movies, even things that people don't like. I love Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Love
Most
that
people
movie. Oh,
most
great
people don't
soundtrack,
like that
also
movie at all. I
amazing.
love that movie. I like a lot of a lot of Coen Brothers
Sorry to
movies.
interfere, but could you tell I was scratching myself in the privates when my shoulder was moving like that?
Well, you came forward, and we assumed that coming forward implied something. We just didn't know
Again,
what.
Amit, I'm opening up to bring the village
I can
together.
tell. I
You
can
and your
tell. I can
stupid
tell.
book story and your martial arts fixation and my poor friend taking punch after punch and pouring rain. Really, so unfair. Where have we gone? Yeah. Okay, I have to tell you it's 6:30 and it's time for us
Yes.
to take a halfway point break.
Yes.
And then maybe If anyone's still listening, when we come back, we do have topics. We always have topics. We
Yeah,
do have
always.
topics. It's not like we don't have
Well-
topics. We're not just winging it. We just don't land up
Correct.
using them.
Hey, do we have topics this time? I feel like this time basically Antariksh decided that no topics because we don't get to the topics.
No, we just took off his Pawai
Yeah?
story or
Okay,
his
all right.
fight. His fight took 15 minutes.
Very funny, interesting topic.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So you are not family chat. You are not Disha Punjabi. You are not Rishabh. You are not Aisha Brocha. You're not Jangu car mechanic, who's also called Jangu doctor, full name. You are Antariksh Silverie, IVM. What a nice title I've given you. It's so difficult to understand so many things in the tech world. Everybody else is saying, not really, not for us. But yeah, for me. Like artificial intelligence, what is that? It just sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? No country for old men. That should be the line. Like me. Luckily though, Intel's digital readiness program empowers everyone with skill sets, mindsets, and tool sets to use in an AI-fueled world so you don't end up like me. He says with a broad grin, being self-deprecating, like the greatest of the greats. Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Sunil Gavaskar. As part of the Intel for Youth program, Intel's been working with the CBSE, Ministry of Education, and the Government of India. We have a government. Yes, we have a government of India to empower today's youth to build social impact solutions while demystifying what AI is. Now, how do you take advantage of this? Purchase an Intel Core powered PC and you get free access to 80 plus hours. I'll repeat, you get free access to 80 plus hours of immersive and hands-on training about AI on completion of the program. Along with a certificate, you get access to AI tool sets to try to put what you've learned to good use. Okay, so don't wait. Log on to change voice. Future Banana Wonderful by bringing home an Intel powered PC today.
Let's get to some topics.
Yep.
The first one is there's a new video that has gone viral about a woman who was a woman in her 50s. She was
Kunal.
just resting. She was resting in on like a ledge in Aarey Milk Colony, and a leopard attacks her from behind.
Leopard, yeah, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it? Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
this is great.
She fought
great,
back.
great.
She
I'm gonna show
fought
this.
back.
Yeah, amazing.
showing
Okay.
it? Yeah.
So,
the
man,
leopard-
Ooh,
that
the
really-
leopard dropped her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
leopard is this Indian leopard.
wait, why is
firstly,
this?
looks
Why
like
is it so bad? Why is quality so bad? Wait, that was better. One second.
Can I
Oh, I'm
just
sorry.
say
This video is better.
Indian leopard is not very large compared to the African leopard. It's good 20, 30, maybe 40 pound difference. More close to 110, 120 pounds. So that's one. And this is even a smaller one than that. It's probably like a yearling or something, like a
Wow.
youngster. Having said that, he's still a leopard.
Yeah.
God.
But she dropped. She pushed him away, man. That's very impressive.
She did. Here comes the guy who saved the
But
day.
generally, leopards don't go after people that big,
And they
right?
go from the back, but he was confused because she was she was lying down with her knees up. Don't ask me what she was doing.
Ah,
And so
okay.
he was confused about there was no face. He didn't see the face. So whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'm not an animal expert when it comes to predators, so I can't tell you for sure, but I'm presuming that he just got confused.
Okay.
No, I think
but
he just
wow,
got his
but-
timing off. He just got his timing off. If he like attacked like maybe 3 seconds sooner, she wouldn't have noticed him basically.
Some middle-aged women that I have seen around the areas of India, they can take tigers on, huh? Not just leopards. I mean, those are
I
the
mean,
word. I don't want to be insensitive to use words like battle axe and all that, but it comes from somewhere. Somebody coined these expressions because they've seen them in action. Sher Shah Suri is supposed to have killed single-handedly a tiger with just a sword, probably a tall tail. But I think she should be renamed today. What do we call panther in cheetah is for both, no? Right? We got lazy in
Cheetah.
Hindi and we say cheetah for panther and cheetah.
Do we really? I didn't know this.
What do we say for leopard? Chota sher.
Gerua
Huh?
or something.
Really? These are.
What is it? Tendua? No, Tendua or something like that.
Okay.
No, that's
That's Tendua.
Tendulkar's pet name, Tenlea.
So what is
Ask on the
leopard?
chat to help us. Now there'll be some guy who'll help us. Someone will
Leopard
know.
in
Find out.
Hindi is Tendua.
Tendua, yeah, correct. Tendua.
Tendua. So love me, Tendua, love me true. sorry.
Which is
All
what
the
the
wrong things.
Tendua was trying to do to the lady.
Is anyone like
Even panther is Tendua.
panther leopard is the same thing? This is a mistake. The black
It's the
panther is just
colour,
a
no?
melanin difference, color.
This is the color, yeah, correct.
Same thing.
Yeah.
The Latin is the same. Pantheras, Arambengus, it's the same.
Okay. And cheetah is cheetah.
In Hindi.
It's
Yeah,
it's basically you don't have the H. You pronounce it without the cheetah.
Cheetah.
You pronounce it
Yeah.
cheetah.
Like the French say cheetah. But they also mean that
Shabash.
when you cog your in exams, you're called in French. They say chita, and it sounds beautiful. As a criminal in France, you still feel good, right? Because the words sound right. You murderer, and it just sounds nice. You don't sound like murderer, you rapist. Yeah, not the worst thing. We got sidetracked, but okay. Now jokes apart, that woman
Yes.
was strong. But to have, your self-preservation kicks in. Either you're frozen to fear. So again, fight or flight. She went for fight,
Yeah.
and she handled a leopard, and a
Luckily, she had
strapping
a stick.
28-year-old couldn't handle another man.
I
Amit,
mean, yeah, that's
what's
true.
that about?
That is true. That is
Six-year-old
so
woman
true.
handled the leopard. How
I
about
did not have
Cyrus?
my stick. I did not
You
have my
didn't have
walking
your
stick.
stick.
Unfortunately, yeah, correct. Yeah.
You go meet that woman, take the kung fu books with you, and ask her to teach you kung fu. Let this. You go there in Aarey Milk Colony at 5 a.m. Wearing nothing, and do your pranams and all, and then you start. And then 5 years later, you meet the same guy in pouring rain again, and this time you come out, and Amit will tell the story through the kung fu pattern narrative, which will be,
Okay.
the leg comes out, your leg will go through the window of the door while you're seated because you're that flexible. Smack him in the chin, he goes down, your leg comes back in, then the other leg goes out and catches him like a hockey stick and brings him in towards the window pane and smacks him hard against the door. I like it. The things we can do. Isn't that kung fu?
That kind of is kung fu. I'll send you one of these books, man. Read them. They're really fun.
Hey, I'm a big fan of the movies. Like I can watch, I can watch a lot of these action movies that are senseless, like
Yeah.
the great Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Huh.
I would leave
Yeah.
Bruce Lee aside because for his time, I think it was fantastic fight effects and all that. But Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal, I've actually sat through.
Yeah, I
I've
know.
sat
So
through.
those are I've seen. So I watched all of this shit, right? I mean, like when we were kids, Snake in the Monkey's Shadow, 36 Years of
Yeah.
Shaolin, Drunken Monk, or
My master, Jackie Chan.
Drunken
No, no,
Master Jackie Chan. Yeah,
no. There's another drunken one. He's talking about Aira drunken one. The
yeah,
drunken. Then there were drunken ones later. God.
yeah. There's so many.
Oh,
The
drunken master kung fu. Drunken. What the
there
hell
was
was it?
Snake in the Monkey's Shadow, the Snake in the Cobra's Shadow, Snake in the Eagle's Shadow.
Yeah.
All of those. So many of those.
Hmm. Hmm.
I used to love watching all this stuff, right?
Yeah. It's night.
Uh,
There's one. It's nighttime, no shadow, which is just
okay.
like a narrative again, just a documentary
Uh,
about Wang Chang province. Yeah. What was that?
I don't no all the Shaolin ones, right? I mean, like all the Shaolin movies were so
Shaolin.
cool,
Yeah. But
right?
the 36 was the best.
That
After
was the
that, they were a
best.
little bit let down for me.
Yeah, yeah. 36. I saw. I remember going as a child to see in theater after lots
Regal,
of arguments.
Regal for us.
Was it Regal? I feel like it was
Yeah, yeah.
Eros.
No, Baba, Regal for us.
Regal. It
I,
must have been.
I
I
I remember coming out and it was raining, and I tried to show my mom that I can cut the rain, like he
okay.
does, like that. And I refused to go home till I did it, and I didn't do it. And she was like, "No, you have to go home now." I said, "No, mommy, I can do it. Check it out." And then all the other parents were looking at this stupid kid trying to cut the rain with his hands, and they
Yeah.
all said, "Ha, so funny." I was so
Uh,
angry that I couldn't do it. I was like, I didn't understand the philosophy. You have to start at the one. You can't start at the
yes.
36. That was the whole
Yes.
thing.
And that's
Like,
exactly what these books are, man. I'm going to send you one, right? I actually bought one as like an open ebook rather than a Kindle book. I'll send that to you. You read it.
okay.
Yes.
Although I've become so passive now when it comes to entertainment, I just need to look at things and hear them loudly.
Uh,
Reading is like hard work. It's like, weight training. Reading's the weight training. I like the cardio, the easy cardio. Sit on the bike. Sometimes I think the guy sitting on a bike and cardio. We have a strange guy who comes into the gym to work out with a with a weight room with a bicycle helmet on,
well,
and he keeps it. I don't know. We all look at
is
each other.
he
Nobody.
does he come to
It's,
the weight room on his bicycle, or is he worried about somebody
no.
dropping a weight on his
Okay, so
head?
he's dressed like a bike cyclist, proper cyclist in all the perfect gear, but he's got this
Uh,
helmet on. And he doesn't take it off. He spends about half an hour there and he does everything, whatever he does with the helmet on. He's obviously in danger of falling or something, while walking from
no,
the
no.
bench to the water. I don't know. There must be a reason.
How does he come? Like, I mean, like, I mean, like,
So he might have come by cycle. I don't know. He comes during my workout and leaves before I end, so
huh?
I don't know anything about him. And he's
Wow,
also someone I
weird.
don't really know him. It's just vaguely familiar.
Well, I mean, like, but Bombay gym person. So,
What's the
so
motivation? Why did someone do that? We did a bakra many years ago where we just kept a notice on the treadmill in a gym in Hughes
huh.
Road, which doesn't exist now. And the notice said in English and Hindi on the treadmill due to international regulations, please wear the helmet and the visor. You know, Amit, we had a success count 100%. It's very rare. 100%. Because mostly middle class women would come at that time. We took the right
Huh.
time, which is 11
Hmm.
to 12 to 3 or whatever the timing was.
Huh.
Afternoon. So there were no men, no hardcore training people who came. So these poor women, and this is the thing about the middle classes in India, we just follow instructions. We never question.
Yeah.
Tell me honestly, it also speaks about that. Forget that we're trying to be funny. They all put the helmet on without questioning, and
Wow.
a couple were running, one or two ran in salwar kameez and all that with tennis shoes. That whole picture. It's normal. We do have that's fine, fine. That's your thing. And they had the helmet and the visor. And a lot of them couldn't put the visor down because it's something they've never seen in their lives. They're fiddling with it and all that. Yeah. So then the instructor, because in case I got recognized, I wasn't doing it. We were watching it. The instructor would come in and say, "Madam, usko niche karne ka." We had a full 100%, like 14 or 15 people without stopping. Not one didn't do it. And some of them are old and
That's
running it. The running is not running. It's like when it's really slow and it's really irritating to look at. Is one of those things. So that was going
I know
on.
what you mean. Wow.
It's mean, I know, but yeah,
Oh,
it was
God.
great fun. Yeah. Anyway, so much for our kung fu. Okay, sorry, bro. Let's get one topic.
Yes.
Okay, we did this. This woman getting attacked by leopard. Another interesting one. Sorry, this is is trending right now on Twitter. The spelling of the word is hashtag LAWDA.
Okay.
What does that come to?
I don't want to say it.
Oh yeah, but you get it exactly. So the word is LAWDA.
Huh.
Okay, and it is trending right now on Twitter. Why do you think a word like LAWDA would be trending? Can you guess?
The famous racing driver with the same name?
No, not LAWDA. That's LAUDA. That's the proper. This
No, but
is
see,
LAW.
we have the liberty in Indianizing what is phonetically. I mean, it's
Okay.
that way. You do it with the Indian accent and it becomes, LAWDA.
Yeah, correct.
Is it because of the famous builder?
No. I don't think you'll get it.
Is it have something to do with like district attorneys in the US? Is this an Indian Twitter trending thing?
This is an Indian thing. This is Indian Twitter. Indian
Okay, so
Twitter. Yeah.
that's not it.
So what it is in the Dal Lake in J&K is being cleaned right now, and the organization that is in charge of cleaning it is called Lakes and Waterways Developmental Authority.
Oh, why didn't you send me this before I shot? Yeah. Why didn't you send me this link before I just shot my program? Why didn't you send me this? Because it's
man,
real. We need real.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
You're telling
So
me.
everyone's
Telling me all Kashmiris at least speak basic Hindi. Okay, they may not all speak good Hindi, but they all speak basic Hindi. So nobody figured out that the vernacular, colloquial lingo.
I don't know how this happened. Yeah, like so basically they try to make it that, right? They try to construct their the nomenclature of the organization to match like a word like air or like oil. They want it to be that.
Did it.
Exactly what am I thinking? What else, right? Why do you?
It has to be by accident, right?
Accident, yeah. But what are the odds?
Bro, they are all the ladies and all around. They won't take such a liberty. Teenagers may do it as a prank. I can't see people because they'll be held accountable after some time. And it'll be shot in digital archives forever. They'll be preserved. I mean, as it should be. It'll have its own, memes will happen, and there'll be a whole Insta account. Join the LAWDA Insta account. See what we clean today. Yeah. Stand up for what you believe in. I don't know. I mean, they've got so many symbols.
Yeah.
So how does it end? Did they change it?
No, they're in the midst of cleaning it, and they're making some great progress.
No, but
so everyone's been like, "Good going to LAWDA." Like all the tweets are like, "All the best LAWDA."
Get to love.
Yeah. LAWDA ने ये किया तो लसन क्या करेगा? All that shit.
Who says a dick is just a dick?
Yeah, basically. Oh yeah, hilarious, too funny.
This reminds me of that Larry David special, one of those episodes, the one where he has to do the obituary. Remember that, Silverie? The obituary of his wife's aunt. And so because he's the only non-blood member or family member in that sense, they ask him to do the obituary because they're all emotional and upset. So he goes and does it, and they give him the lines. He has to just go to the newspaper office and sit through the process. So, and cut to the next day, they come back for lunch, and he's very cocky, and he sits around, and everybody's like pale faced and shocked with their mouths open, looking at him. And he sits and he starts eating. He says, "Pass me stuff." And so what happened? You look like somebody died, and that's also funny. And then what happened? And then they show him the obituary. There's a typo. Instead of AUNT, it's CUNT.
Oh God!
One of the rare occasions, my wife laughed so much. I was watching with her. She was because these are like the LAWDA being a real story. It just reminds me it's a real thing happens. It's an obituary. The guy he's just typing whatever you say or whatever. It's just fed into a computer and that's it. Nobody's really paying attention. It's very possible that he's doing it day in and day out. So you feed it into the computer. He's not paying attention. Whatever the name is, puts it in. Nobody cares, and it runs in a national newspaper with her name and everything in loving memory, full name. Let's say her name is Jessica, whatever, and then it goes down and says, "To my loving
cunt."
I love that episode. It's my
Genius.
favorite.
Light David is such a genius one. Yeah.
Then it happens to you.
Yeah, I know. Correct.
Imagine having a room full of relatives having said LAWDA to my beloved LAWDA. Wow. Well, if you ask kids in an exam paper, which is your favorite organization in India today who's doing the best work and all, and I'm just saying, if I'm a kid and a cocky kid,
no, but it's actually a legitimate answer. There's the Lake and Water Development Authority.
That's what I wanted
it's a
for the
legit
show.
answer.
That's what I'm saying. We could have done so much with it if you had given me this information.
Next week, dude. Next week.
We got in Chandigarh. We had this club thing which was fabulous, but it was done so much on the net that I didn't do it in the end. But they gave all kinds of instructions. It was really funny about COVID. Anyway, okay, sorry. Let's go. Should we go to AMAs?
Let's go to the AMAs.
Let's go to AMAs. Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, Chef Saransh Goyla talks to Cyrus about his food show, Grand Trunk Rasoi, his experience as a guest judge on MasterChef Australia, and a whole lot more. On All Things Policy, Pratik Vagre talks to Sapni GK and Rohan Sheth to examine the fine print in the Apple versus Epic Games lawsuit. On a bonus episode of Paisa Vaisa, Anupam is joined by Sumit Chanda, CEO at Jarvis Invest. They discuss why investing directly in equity is a better proposition than other financial platforms. On Say No to Drama, Chitna slices through all the time-related nonsense that we throw at ourselves instead of using our time wisely. And on Audio Gyan, Shahina Attarwala from Microsoft talks to Kedar and Abhineet about her decade-long design career and why she likes to call herself a businesswoman with a designer's heart. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. It really does help us. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Inter vPro. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
So I saw one which I thought was interesting. Let me see if I can find that. Here, again, it's not really, it's just a question, I guess, but I thought this was an interesting question.
Oh yeah, great question.
Yeah. Any favorite sci-fi movies?
I don't know if it qualifies for sci-fi. But it is, I don't know, it is in a sense, it's fantasy. So I like Planet of the Apes.
No, that's sci-fi. That's hardcore sci-fi.
Yeah.
So
Planet of the Apes, that's about it. Otherwise, I'm not a big sci-fi fan. My daughter loves Star Wars. It's a Star Wars, and many in her class.
So sci-fi. So Star Wars is actually more fantasy than science fiction. I know that some people are going to give shit for that. But
why would you say that? You got a whole world of names and all. I mean, the terms she uses, that's all sci-fi terms. People's tribes.
So basically, there is an umbrella term called speculative fiction, which includes both sci-fi and fantasy. The sci-fi is science-driven and basically looking at possible scientific explanations. Fantasy is magic-driven, right? So I mean, like Star Wars is actually a space opera fantasy in the sense.
The Planet of the Apes is also fantasy in that sense.
No, Planet of the Apes is talking about evolution.
Apes of the future.
Evolution of apes, and Charlton Heston being sent to space and coming back hundreds of thousands of years later when the world has already gone through an apocalypse, right? Those are sci-fi concepts, right? But again, science fiction doesn't mean that it's like achievable in the next year or 10 years, right? It's scientific concepts. Whereas when you're looking at Star Wars, you're talking about Jedi mind tricks and you're talking about the Force.
For my simple mind, Planet of the Apes, I can follow without having to know the jargon. But if we watch Star Wars, I watched with her once a little bit, and it's really tough to follow. As in, you follow what's happening plot-wise.
Yeah,
but who is this people? Remember their names, remember each character's name. They're quite heavy, yeah?
Oh, on Star Wars. What do you got to remember? There's nothing in Star Wars to remember. They're like 4 characters. You just follow them and that's it.
Silverie is backed out of the
Star Wars is one of the. I love Star Wars, but it's a damn simple show. Damn simple movie.
He'd rather be hit by a guy in pouring rain than listen to sci-fi shit. He's that kind of fellow. Yeah.
Do you like sci-fi at all?
You didn't answer. What's your favorite sci-fi? You didn't answer.
My favorite? I have a lot of them. I love sci-fi.
Give a favorite.
Yeah. So I mean, like Blade Runner is amazing. The original, the Harrison Ford one from the 1980s. I'm a big.
How's the more recent one? Did you watch the more recent one also?
I have not seen that. I have that ready to watch, but I haven't seen that yet. I'm a big fan also of most of the Star Trek movies. I really enjoy a bunch of those. I really like Alien and Aliens both,
Yeah,
the Ridley
Alien's
Scott
great.
one and
Yeah.
the James Cameron one. Those were great. The Abyss was fantastic in the sci-fi space. Then Flatliners, that horror movie I was talking about, that's a science fiction movie too, in some ways.
But have you seen what are Gremlins? Is Gremlins or
Gremlins is fantasy because again you're talking about magical creatures that
damn you,
don't really exist.
damn you,
And listen,
damn
I
you?
love fantasy too. I love fantasy. I love sci-fi. I love all the speculative fictions. Yeah, I love Gremlins.
The movie Predator, somewhere in between. Then it's sci-fi and
Predator is. I think you would call Predator science fiction because he's an alien, right? All the
Alien.
Earth
Okay.
stuff is
Yeah.
true. What the
Hmm.
Predator does, he's an alien. He can have all kinds of weird powers. So I think
Yeah.
Terminator is sci-fi. Terminator is pure sci-fi.
No, that's
Yeah,
complete sci-fi.
1, 2, 3, all of them. They're all pure sci-fi. I like those a lot. Uh,
What about
Matrix.
all a
what about
bunch of
First Matrix,
in,
of course.
what about Indian aircraft from the Vedic period? Is that science fiction or is that
no,
fantasy?
that's fantasy
That's Vimana.
based on
Yes.
magic. Based on magic.
Silverie's traveled. This thing is called Vimana. He's gone by
Oh.
Vimana Airways.
Yes,
He's had a
yes.
great time.
That's what I
Which, by the
believe.
way, Biman, which is a Bengali of the Sanskrit or whatever, is the Bangladesh carrier. Just for the record. Yeah. Maybe they reached.
Before we go on to like other ones, I'll just mention like a bunch of the Christopher Nolan movies that have come out in the last few years have all been
Inception,
sci-fi.
fantastic.
Inception is sci-fi. Interstellar is sci-fi,
Yeah.
and Tenet, which is like
Tenet.
mind
That
blowing.
word is great.
It's
Okay.
completely insane, but it's sci-fi, I guess too. So I mean, like he does a bunch of those things too.
Do they actually say sci-fi now, like they used to in the old days? When I was young, they used to say sci-fi picture. It was
I
like
don't
a.
think so. I don't know
They don't,
that. I
don't
don't
say
know
that.
that
Like
I've seen that.
Interstellar always it's too like hip for them to say that. So they don't say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if people call movies sci-fi movies like that.
I'm waiting for the movie LAWDA, the story of one man's cleanup campaign of the Dal Lake. I want to see that film from start.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger has been involved in some great sci-fi movies. Of course, Terminator,
Total Recall.
Total Recall,
Total
exactly,
Recall.
great.
Yeah.
He's
Last
in
Man
so many.
Standing
He's
was
been like these
Last Man Standing
stolen.
fantasy.
yeah.
No, there's like
Yeah.
he's in Stolen Identity or something. Some movie
Eraser.
about Eraser. Yeah, that's a good movie. Then he was in Red Heat or Red Planet, one of them, which is
Yeah.
it's a movie on Mars, and the design of the people, character design is very Red Heat.
The Red Heat is not about Red Heat's not about Mars. Red Heat is he's a Russian cop who is a partner. It's basically Lethal Weapon with a Russian and an American. So
Oh,
he's
okay.
partners with James Belushi.
Yeah.
Fun movie.
Also, the
Yeah.
sixth
But
Olympia.
yeah, exactly. Arnie was involved in one of them. Yeah.
But his sixth Olympia win is also fantasy, where Lou Ferrigno should have won. It's clearly, I mean, to be honest. Yeah, but I don't want to start a fight, so leave it. Yeah.
Okay, so talking
next
about
one.
that, talking about fighting, Gautam Pai has asked, "Hi Cyrus, a fun
Hi.
question for you. Would you do a charity boxing match like celebrities abroad? Who would you fight and how would you beat them?"
I specialize in fighting with 80-year-old men. But I just, by the way, Amit, you will be proud of me.
So Amitabh
while
Bachchan, what are you saying? Amitabh Bachchan, you want to fight?
No, I love Amitabh Bachchan.
Will kick your ass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll kick my
for
ass. He'll just do a voiceover. Rishta mein hum tumhara baap ban
Brolcha.
jate hain. Ah, okay.
Yes.
Heart attack. Died. Yeah. What are we saying? So you'll be proud of me. I just had a small. Tell me if this was wrong of me. So in my office lane, the cop on the bike, who's not even he's moving it in slowly, but through the one way. So I told him, boss, tu police hai aur tu one way pe aa raha hai, aap sign dekh sakte hain. So he didn't talk badly back. He said, mere ko problem ho gaya gaadi mein, and he started explaining some bike issue for which he should go through the one way, whatever sense that makes. Kunal and I started screaming at me. You become like a mad old Parsi who wants to fight with every policeman you see and this and that and all. I say, but he's breaking the one way. I'm just telling him in a civil way. I never used bad language or screamed or anything. And he also spoke back civilly. We just had an exchange. In a democracy, you should be allowed to have an exchange. Unlike what poor Silverie went through. That's wrong. And then they attack me like I'm the bad guy. But he's breaking the one way. Why am I the bad guy? For civilly, not without raising my voice or abusing or using my finger or anything. Just asking him, boss, dekho, one way, I like that in this tone. Showing him the sign, which is right.
Well, yeah, I don't know why Kunal was giving you shit for that.
Yeah. He was hungry and he's on a diet. He eats only one
There
good
you
meal
go.
a day.
That explains that.
And Aisha didn't let him reverse the car back 3 buildings in that terrible traffic.
There you go.
So he's already back because he had to walk. Yeah.
There's other kunnas
So
happening.
he had noble reasons.
Yes, exactly. So that makes sense. So,
Okay, so you answer this. Who would you fight in your charity
you know,
boxing match?
Who, me? Dude, I'd get
Yeah.
my ass kicked by anybody. I'm not fight. I don't fight.
Yeah.
I really don't fight. I can't fight.
Can you fight child actors? I think that's a safe fight. Fighting child actors.
Yeah, also child actors can be very irritating. I might kick them. I'm very scared of my shoulder, my rotator cuffs going, so I'm very scared of fighting now.
Have you actually had to work with child actors though, Cyrus?
I've had to do ads with child actors. And I remember one ad I did, one toffee ad, many years ago. The child actor decided he got upset at Prahlad or one of these directors who just slightly, oh, you dare raise your voice. Or maybe raise his voice at me. I don't know, but he raised his voice. And this kid started crying. Silverie, this is pretty to a halt. The bugger's taken back into his room. And then the mother is giving him 5 minutes. He's not happy. And then they're giving him chocolates. The irony being there's a toffee set. I was like, we got free toffee, give him toffee. Everybody's irritated with him that day. I mean, we are being insensitive because they're kids and they probably don't want to come there. And if it's your kid, it would be a totally different story. But it's so irritating, especially if you're like me, always in a hurry. And the director who had, the directors, Amit will verify this, they have a peak period where they're really on the game. So that peak period, we should really shoot well. Maybe between, say, 11:30 and 3:30, they're at their best. So let's freaking shoot, because then they start again going all over the place. And the kid just, there's fear when you see a kid on a set. If you're doing a freelance thing, I'm shooting something on the 8th and I don't know what it is exactly. So if there's a kid on the set, I swear to you, without being racist or whatever the right word is, there is your heart sinks a bit because you're worried.
What about shooting with animals? Have you shot with animals ever?
Yeah, but I got a lot of time for animals, so I don't mind that.
That's true.
I get a little irritated if it goes on and on, but animals, you know how I am. I'm like a racist. No, animals are theek. But I'll kick them.
Let me give you the flip side of shooting with kids, right? So this is probably more of a reflection of the fact that I'm a terrible actor more than anything else.
We tried to use you.
Terrible actor. So
the look was so perfect, Silverie. All he had to do is deliver one line in a straight face. He didn't have to act. Just be normalish. That's enough. No extra acting. Didn't want him to do a knuckle of the great politician or anything. You are it. We'll give you 2 words. It was so
I'm awful. I'm awful. So this was, Raj, my friend who just passed, right? He had done an ad for, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was a cookie company of some nature. And he asked me if I would do the ad. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do the ad. And I was doing the ad with a kid. The kid actor was there. So this was the kid, if you guys remember from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, the Sardarji guy, the Sardarji kid. Yeah, so basically that kid. It was that kid and me. This was before Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, but that kid and me doing an ad together, and it was like basically the two of us walking in a forest or some shit like that and finding cookies. It was I can't remember what it was, right?
Were you his father? You're supposed to be his father?
No, we were supposed. It was, I think.
No, they had this concept of the fat guy and the kid. They had this concept advertising for a long time. Actually, his face is good for advertising if he could just perform.
If I could act a little bit, and basically keep us, a little bit, right? But no. So basically, I did this. I did the ad for this thing, and basically, we did so many takes, and they were all my fault. The kid was fine; he was perfect throughout. But we had to keep redoing it because I was awful at it. Yeah, so it can be the other way around too sometimes.
And the other thing is they can be very clingy. If it's a long day shoot and they like you because you're over friendly in the first 2 hours, which I always am, by R3 when you don't want to see them again, they're clinging to you. They come and sit next to you. They ask you questions. It doesn't end. That idol worship will happen for a few hours, and they pick those few hours when you really don't want to meet anyone. So there are all kinds of problems with kids. Yeah, but. I think the most important thing is if you can get a co-actor or co-person or whatever who you can chat with from not about the shoot. That's the most. If you can get that, then you're okay because you get a resting space. Otherwise, it's oh god no. Because we're the only ones who don't work on a set. Everybody else is really rushed for time. The technicians are working non-stop, sweating like animals. What do we do? One line here, one line there, one look here, one look there. Come on, it's ridiculous. Don't tell anyone, Silverie. They really should pay us the least because we do sweet.
Correct. No, I've always said that actors earn the most for the least amount of work on set.
Very rarely is some great.
It's the most is waiting. Waiting is a lot longer than what you're actually working.
You're being paid to wait. That's especially basically. Feature. You're being paid to wait. You just sit quietly and wait. Chalo. Now that we've explained all these important things.
Next one, it's a comment comes in from Pawan0387.
The countdown is already started on the chat. People have mentioned 8:59. So somebody. So this was
subtly put it there.
This was a comment that we got as well. Can we have the final countdown?
Let's have Aditya on the show. So we have some humor finally. Yeah.
But, let's do the last question.
Okay, cool. Pawan0387 has said that Sidhu is staying back in Congress as PCC chief because all his demands have been met. That's what we are getting from the news. Oh yeah. So you guys knew he was staying back? I thought he was leaving.
That's what's happening now, no, bro. We're on live. We're looking at middle-aged woman beat up a leopard. I mean, look, our lives are different. And we had LAWDA to deal with in the middle, and then you're beating for no reason by some monstrous evil man who, what if he's a fan of the podcast? Then maybe not so bad.
Please come on the show, Mr. Sidhu.
Not Sidhu, the guy who attacked you.
The guy who attacked me. Oh, what if he's a fan? Huh?
Well, if he's
and he didn't know me, that means not that big a fan. So probably not.
Or maybe
what if he is a fan and he realizes today that, oh man, I beat up this guy? Oh damn!
My favorite guy. Silverie, You're just another beard in the rain to him.
All right. Another similar comment comes in from Siva Paturi. Last one, Siva Paturi says,
I'm under pressure to pick the dogs.
Kanaya Kumar is a great addition to the Congress, but it will not last long. Won't be able to survive in a high command driven culture in Congress. High command driven culture. So I get it. They're saying he might go against the Gandhis and all quite easily.
No, I don't know if he'll go against the Gandhis. The problem is that they are absolute power. They go to this absolute power thing, although they seem to be very nice on a personal level. And the absolute power problem is Amarinder is made to be ridiculed, who is one of the pillars of the Congress, one of the old guard and all that. Then obviously they can, do something to upset Kanaya. I can see that happening as well if he's a rising star. Could it be that, sometimes they say that people just don't like the ones who are coming up in life. So the leadership, bad leadership does that. They pull down the rising stars. While good leadership allows them to grow, it's a tough one because then they take over and then they become the new leadership. So I don't know what the right thing to do is. Don't take the advice from this podcast. Yeah, Rahul, if you're listening, don't listen to us. Us and the public, don't listen to. The rest you can. No.
Okay, sorry. Last. This is very important. Pradeep Pillai has asked, waiting for Amit's remarks. That is our US experts' remarks after US media was miffed with Biden's comments about Indian media better behaved than US media.
Indian media better behaved. Didn't we just go through that whole Aaj Tak thing last time?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, correct. We did.
Yeah, he didn't see that. We didn't understand the Hindi. He didn't even have to understand the Hindi. It was on the body language was understandable enough. But isn't it always the grass is green on the other side?
It always is.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really know Indian media. If Joe Biden spent 15 minutes in a news channel here, English or Hindi, oh God forbid. I mean, there's no question. I think let's yeah.
No,
I just want to say honestly, it's not that we've become better than them. It's just that both have become really bad. American media as well, to some extent, has also become ridiculous.
I think the biggest offenders when we talk about like media becoming bad are typically in the US local stations in India, very much like, local Indian coverage driven. People who are covering foreign affairs, whether they are from American publications or from Indian publications, these are generally much like, if you're comparing, you get what I'm saying? These are like the best of the best in the
So what you're doing is you're giving us a geographical twist to that. The Desi is better behaved, and normally they outsource the Desi to do the production, not the production, to be the anchor. Many of the big channels have Desis out there who are like one reporter for everything in America, in Canada, in England, whatever. You'll see the same names if you follow news channels. So you're right, they are, because they're slightly more, what is the word, civilized. The more civilized in their attitude.
They are more. They don't have the same competition.
But that girl was like a predator.
Yeah, they don't have the same degree of competition that you do when you're covering local stories. No?
She was a predator, the Aaj Tak girl, and she was also shameless. It's the combination was unbelievable. It didn't bother her that she was disrespected by Miss Dubey.
You know what I want to see? I would love to see. I would love to see if she barges into to talk to Biden and immediately gets run over by the Secret Service. Hey, you can't enter.
That's exactly what would happen.
That's what. Also, with Miss Dubey, it happened. But even with the Prime Minister, there's no way. I mean, any of these top politicians of the world, there's no way. And they'll shoot first. They have the right to. You can't just walk in saying, "Dekhiye,
So no, I was just saying that last question to end on before we do anything. This is it's a one-word answer from you, because I saw really cool YouTube videos of this yesterday. So I want to know, what's your favorite Freddie Mercury song?
I'm going slightly mad. I'm going slightly mad.
Okay,
beautiful song.
That's the unusual one.
I'm going slightly mad. It finally happened. And of course, Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, what a classic. Oof.
Well, yeah. So that's what it came up from. Like I was watching yesterday, I saw somebody's.
I wanna ride your bicycle.
That's a good one.
Ride my bike. I wanna ride my bicycle. Bicycle. Bicycle.
I'll send you this email. I'll send you this link. I saw basically a video yesterday of somebody who had never heard Queen before listening to Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time. It was an insane video to watch because I mean, like, if you've never heard Queen before, just imagine coming across
Also-
that as the first song.
And those were the days of my life.
That's
Beautiful
a great song. That's a
Great
great
I
song.
Want to Break Free is the classic, of course.
I like I Want to Break Free, but it's done to death. We are the
Yes,
champions.
yeah.
It's been the marginal utility of the products has been lost a little bit because of
Yes.
overplaying. So I'll
But I
give it a
think
break for some time.
that's one of the problems with Queen in some ways. That so many of their
Yeah.
songs are such anthems now, right?
Anthems.
Like
We are
yeah,
the champions in every freaking football match. Amit
Yeah,
Doshi. I mean,
exactly.
come on, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Get another song.
No, but
I
I
need
mean,
that
like,
people non-English speaking winning. Somebody from who speaks say East African dialects. Singing the song perfectly well, of
Uh-huh.
course, for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
no, but like one of my favorites is like Under Pressure. Okay, I want to break free.
Go.
But let you break
Finish
free.
fast. I interrupted you fast.
No, I was
please.
just saying Under Pressure, right? I mean, like that's one of my favorite songs. But again, same
That's
problem.
Milli
It's
Vanilli,
everywhere.
yaar. That's Milli
Vanilla Ice.
Vanilli. Ting,
Vanilla
ting,
Ice.
ting, ting, ting. Oh, Vanilla Ice. Ting, ting, ting,
Vanilla
ting,
Ice.
ting, ting.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But again, it's a really nice song. But the problem is it's so overplayed all over the
pressure.
place. Yeah,
That's nice. They're all
Yes,
good. They're all
it
good.
is.
Huh?
It is.
Okay.
All right.
Bad times, they were so very few. Those days have all gone now, but one thing's still true. Come on, Amit, end it. When I look and I find
I
I
cannot
still
sing,
love
dude.
you.
My
You
singing is
can't
no
sing,
better than
you
my
can't
singing.
act, you can't
Exactly,
dance,
that's
you
what I'm
can't
saying.
fight. What the hell can you do? Can you repair bulbs?
That's why I run a podcasting
Can you do
company.
bulbs? I have a bulb problem. Okay, see you guys.
All
Bye-bye.
right, bye.
Thank you.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
From uncensored and unfiltered chats with the who's who of the entertainment industry, I, Siddharth Kannan, bring your very heartcake chat show called Candid Kannan. Tune in every Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
Get accustomed to womanhood.
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
Might get to wifehood
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
earn a livelihood,
Change the neighborhood.
and get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Ritasha,
And me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point.
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station, and hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.